funky and they all look just the same.
Yo, what up, YouTube? What up? Yeah, man. I was just sitting here. I got up. It's about I wake up about 10 p.m. at night now. So my schedule has rotated. It has been optimized for fucking avoiding people. You know what I'm saying? The herd. You know what I'm saying? I be watching JRE and shit like that. And you know what I'm saying? These guys, listen, man. Joe Rogan fucking practices fucking jujitsu and fucking does podcast interviews. Outside of that, you're not gonna. I guess he will go do he'll do the comedy thing from time to time, I suppose. But the fact of the matter is, Joe Rogan, for the most part, ain't fucking with you niggas because you fucking crazy. I mean, a nigga that got his shit together will know if you want to hang out with Joe Rogan, you gotta fucking, you know what I'm saying? You gotta watch the JRE podcast show. Because all these people that he have on there, these are all people that you don't see in public. You wanna know why you don't see them motherfuckers in public? Because they don't fuck with you. That's why they got their shit together. You understand what I'm saying? When celebrities and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? They have to have a few fall guys and shit like that, where their life gets all fucked up and everything like that. So individuals who don't have that shit can start thinking that it's a fucking catastrophe. Nah, man, they're living great. They're living great. You know what I'm saying? And when you live that great, then this changes the nature of the what do you call it? The fucking ecosphere. It causes global warming, all sorts of shit. Cause then niggas be feeling like, you know what? I read your little fucked up script, and I hate the whole fucking thing. You know what, nigga? I ain't gonna do it. So when you put money, the fact of the matter is, when you put money in a nigga's hand, then he start making decisions, and the nigga comes into the understanding. It's like eating from another motherfucking tree in the garden. A nigga start understanding that, hey man, listen. The word no is trending right now. It's become prominent, and it becomes viral. You know what I'm saying? It is a bit of an energetic charge. Saying no sometimes, and when you first feel it, you might feel like a little dart in your stomach area because your bestial affections are somewhat. That's the spirit that's in your gut. You just drop this willpower. When you say, you know what? Say it out loud, and you will feel this little dense, kind of like a dash, like almost like from the left to the right, like when they do one of those Japanese accents over a character. You'll feel that dash go across the side of your stomach, and you say it out loud and say it to your gut. You know what? And think about some of your favorite things. You know what? I'm gonna start saying no to this shit. I'm fucking tired of all. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of all this shit. Matter of fact, my guilty pleasure and everything else like that. You know what? Fuck all that shit. Something in your guttural region, that energy or whatever, it'll kind of die, and it'll be more of a sharp drop off than it will be a tapering of energy in that area. And you see that correlates with the God of your gut or the impulses, so on and so forth. So I think certain individuals have more of a susceptibility to some of these principles. Thus, what I call, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The white female, okay, that practices purity, trying to find herself and everything like that. I call her a wildling. Now, this is an archetype of character, not pertaining to something superficial as race per se, pertaining to some type of perceived superiority out of my curses that I've been blessed with according to God. Spirit baby. This is what I call this species. The white female, or you know what I'm saying, that trying to find herself and all that other shit. I call her the wildin', nigga. Hey go. I have my sweater on now. I gotta take it off. Just talking about these crazy subjects. Now, when I see you know what I'm saying. When okay. We could tell, okay, when the black female gets upset and when she gets angry. We could definitely tell when the black female gets upset and angry and starts acting wild and crankterious and out of character. And how do we know that this black female is feeling wild and crazy? How do we know something is wrong when something is wrong with the black female? Okay, we know something is wrong. All right, yes, we know something is wrong, class, with the black female. When the black female start acting like a wildin', ain't that a bitch? So then, if I then start like a wildin' and I'm not superficial, then maybe I'll just get me a stuck-up black girl. You know what I'm saying? And white people could get, you know what I'm saying? You can keep your shit. Hypothetical. you see, because you know what I'm saying? People don't even know how I'm moving. You see what I'm saying? See, I just wanted you to focus on the wilding so that you could appreciate what you have. And you don't have to worry about me whatsoever. What about that? What about that situation? Now it's nothing to be racial over, nigga. I'm about to fuck it. I'm gonna have to go with the Aboriginals on this one, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I want to start a group. I want to round up all the fucking Aboriginal tribes, have Aboriginal power. Hey, we can get straw knit hats and shoes and shit. I'd be raisins in the sun, tanning, where the light reflects off the top of our head like some real noggins. And I would say Aboriginal power. You understand what I'm saying? Do what a nigga do. Dee-da-doo, da-da-dee-da-doo. You want to know something about the wilding? You know what the shit makes you crazy about wilding? This is the shit that make niggas crazy about wildings. When you see the wilding in the earth, and she actually knows what the fuck she's talking about, and she not fucking around with like 12,000 different religions and shit. and she have on glasses and she got her shit together. And when that shit happens, and when I see a wilding like that, I start going crazy because I'm thinking like, that's gotta be a demon, because we know all wildlings are fucking nuts. You know, pertaining to psychologies and not in anything superficial, but in a general basis, usually it correlates with the white female to a 99.9% basis. But there is a 0.1/100% that does not fit into the specification or category that we would qualify as a stereotype, which automatically is not as soon as it becomes general at a 99.9% rate. Aboriginal power. I'm gonna get all my Aboriginal brothers and get trucker hats and build a tribe in the middle of America. Maybe some of them Venezuelan niggas that's locked outside in fucking New York come to Missouri. We'll make a fucking little Aboriginal tribe. Yale. Yeah, I said the only one of the things that are scary is when you see one of these wildlings. They got our shit together with the Aboriginal brother, and generally when you see a wildling with the Aboriginal brother, they got our shit together. You gotta watch out for the parents because the parents be on some shit. It's like, I know you like me because your parents don't. Why they try to tell me they Democrat? How much propaganda is there in this motherfucker? Niggas gotta get out. Aboriginal power. I done figured out my mind is shit. You know what I'm saying? I done figured out my mind, or rather, my mind has been given to me, or something like that. And I would get fucking, you know what I'm saying? You get attacked with these entities down here, man. I don't know what else to call them, but entity. And you know, I'm starting to correlate and draw a line. Maybe there's a closer tie between wildlings and these entities than you think. And I gotta tell you, brothers and sisters out there, not that the two are correlated necessarily, but you gotta watch out for the motherfucking succubi, nigga. Succubi is a vampire spirit. You know, this latches onto you, and its interest is it devours your life force energy. So when you're a grape on the vine or whatever, then the circumstances that surround you, everything is drawn in which you would appear to have to become reliant upon others. And it's made to be this way to create a control individual that when they crack under pressure and stress, that they start breaking down into rudimentary things looking for a way out to avoid this discomfort or pain. But rather, if I have no friends or family that I talk to in a general sense, why not I embrace my love? Romeo and Juliet, an eternal never knew of this knowledge. How sweet it is for my mind to articulate the deepest things in isolation, being forced into a state of meditation, no different than a precog, and the value of my mind is worth more than my execution. And could this be a blessing of Christ? Yet why would I have to go under these things? Could we live in peace rather than rest in it? And if we can't rest when we live in peace, then these same individuals are not in Christ. So if they don't know God, it tells me a lot. And I could tell you about these fucking wildlings, man, based on how they come around. And if they got together, some individuals manifest and appear out of nowhere, wanting to have conversation, just to tie up a portion of your mind, and they really are just checking to see if your mind works. And sometimes there are these little flashes of light when you walk around inside of your house as if it was a strobe light, and these are holographic projections in which these entities from the fourth dimension, which collapse on top of the third one due to CERN and shit, be coming into your house, and niggas is experiencing gaslights and all sorts of shit that's connected to the spiritual, but they can't say shit because they a part of it, and being part of it makes them part of the secret. So therefore, they're enslaved in their own torment, and they can't cry out. So they call a nigga John Wick. I'm still working on myself. See, click. This chamber just won't empty. So I live in here and I meditate. Menace to society, they said knowledge is like bullets. Niggas keep filling their brain, not understanding the message, and I hearing that spaghetti go pop. Coroners put motherfuckers in sync who speak too much. I talk about a lot of things without talking about anything. Anybody come to me to diagnose me and say I'm schizophrenic, would they not be? You have enough to understand what you don't. Isn't it intricate? The matters of antimatter. When I was ripped through that fucking vortex, my body got split apart like a fucking Swisher Sweet, nigga. And now I'm just a ghost here breathing winking at these fucking demons. Cause a wildling, well, after you get your body ripped apart like mine and try to breathe, cause your lungs just burst. On your way to a crystal throne, of which you got sent back to earth just to wake up, stuck in the middle of these clowns in this hell, ho. But motherfuckers act so privileged just because they could suck a soul out of them. These are the crazy things out here. And I gotta think, where are these things coming from? It's gotta be the wildness, nigga. Are wildlings correlated with vampires? And can vampires suck the soul out of a nigga? I'm beside myself, nigga. I've been conflicted with this thorn for many nights. A thorn betwixt my spirit and my flesh. This was the situation in which Paul suffered by being called up to the third heaven. And I told you I went to a place where Enoch did. And I'm saying, I want to go to heaven, but Heavenly Father, they got some shit down here that'll suck a soul out of a nigga. I'm sorry, I don't want to bring this to you in church, but I'm conflicted. And if I'm conflicted, how can I have comfort? I know you got solutions and the answer to all things. Why should I be ashamed to be naked? You know what's down here. You know they fucking wildest. It's gotta be the wildest. You know what I'm saying? I've been watching Shy Evans on Hot Ones, and I've been thinking to myself, what are you gonna put a wildlet on there that could suck the soul out the end of a chicken wing? That could suck the entire meats of that chicken wing by just biting the tip of it. While they deal with all that hot sauce, watching their nose wrinkle, looking like a kitten over their catnip. I may not be Illuminati, but you can see my thoughts kind of twinkle. And I'ma share these diamonds. Spirit baby. And I'm beside myself because I done heard some shit, but then there's wheats and tares, yo. And what are tares but pterodactyls? Could they be dragons in human images? Is that possible? You know, pertaining to dinosaurs, pterodactyls, I was highly impressed with the pterodactyl. I don't know why, the shit was just so fucking crazy. You understand what I'm saying? The pterodactyl is an incredible, you know what I'm saying, looking entity. It's just fucking awesome. And it's scary. You know what I'm saying? But down here we got the wheats and the tares. And we got Aryans. And I happen to like pterodactyls, and I start thinking of putting that shit together. If avians were the first, and there's principalities of the air, and then I think of Aryans, and I think of pterodactyls, and they got these entities that can suck the soul out of a nigga. And I start thinking about wildlings. And I'm thinking for myself, there must be a secret, and one of those secrets, I suppose, is that they're androgyne. I don't really know. Maybe tares or pterodactyls in dragon format. And maybe these individuals walk on earth. And maybe they could suck the soul out of a nigga. And I'm beside myself. So I'm decided to speak up and speak out for all my Aboriginal brothers and sisters out here in the world. That you gotta be cautious of whether you're dealing with a wheat or a tare. And the fact of the matter is that we all know, according to the Bible, that the sons of God was mixing in with other things. And they drowned also during Noah's time. People just thought that God was being biased. That's not really true. And maybe it is. It's a lot of fun that we love our tares, that we understand that tares are tares and enjoy tares for what they are. Not wheats So that would make them concubines, and if they wish to be a free spirit, then let them be. If I have one, does two make me a glutton? Considering I'm unbiased and free will, so on and so forth, as an Edenite. If knowledge is power, and you came into understanding and learned from your mistakes and are accountable, then maybe if you were the king of the earth in certain things, you would know how to handle other entities, knowing that Eve can progenate with them all. That means I got a diverse hand. And why would I limit myself? But the circumstance of lies I just can't fuck with. And lies is what makes a terror at the core. So if such the same is not a liar or a lying spirit, even if they're a wildling, doesn't necessarily make them a terror. That's what it would seem to me, since the word was with God and the word is without image. So it pertains to an individual, whether they're a wheat or terror or a spirit, according to the words that they keep and the words that they choose to say, or the words that they choose not to say, depending on if it's infringe upon another person's safety. All right, that's what it looks like to me. I think in Genesis that the wheat and the tares, it was being pointed out, may potentially originally disagreed on diet. Okay. Now, I get a specific quality when I go vegetarian and shit. I get a specific. There is a thing that I get from it, but I don't think that I could fully live on simply a vegetarian diet. And I'm not gonna go as far as to say nutrition or any of that other shit. Sometimes I just want some fucking meat, man. You know what I mean? That's all it is. Sometimes I just do. And I think in Genesis, I think this was the correlation between every green herb of the field was for, you know what I'm saying, man and animal to eat until a sacrifice was needed, at which point the onset of knowledge pertaining to perception and the casting of shadows will cause preferences amongst all things. All right, which according to their knowledge and ways and preferences and archetypes of thought would separate or divide them in such a manner. Okay. And the thing is individuals do what they know. Spirits do what they know. So I would never want you to be outside of your character. I would never want you to fake like you like me. I want you to be exactly as you are. Because if it doesn't matter if you lie, whether you lie or not. You're always going to tell the truth to me. You don't have a choice. And I'm going to tell you the truth all the time. You know, this is what I law of attract. So certain things I demand a spiritual law that you were just an element of. Okay? So pertaining to this, if a tear is a lie but true to himself, then does that tear exist if lies don't? Because how do we tell a lie? Well, we can't tell a lie because lies don't exist. But then humans tell lies. So individuals who have a head full of lies, which you get through education, which creates the black and the white spaces and causes confusion, the fuzzy logic, right? Something in which I believe, what was it about? Somewhere within the last 2 years, manganese ASMR was into mentioned in one of her videos, I believe, where manganese was Sarah was in her room, so to speak, and had many pictures or whatever. But anyways, manganese spoke of it's an ASMR channel. Her name is Sarah. Spoke of fuzzy logic. And I found it to be interesting. Now, this thing I didn't exactly look into, but I started to think about this thing and the correlating effects between certain narcotics, which some cause clarity and some do not. And I haven't gotten into the older book yet, but sometimes when I'm just sitting next to things, I start to pick up certain things. I kind of I kind of pick up on things. But in there, it talks about some things pertaining to like how the Nazis utilized pharmacology pertaining to methamphetamine and how that helped them pertaining to winning a war, which correlated with endurance, which believe it or not, in my personal experience, I have found that mental endurance is far more taxing or beneficial to have than physical endurance. Okay, so this to a degree, it is an interesting thing. Anything that is even prescription glasses, anything that is even to give somebody the ability, okay, to come out of a deficit, to have a fair opportunity and chance. It's also an instrument of correlating to man's knowledge and how man's knowledge being comprised of flesh due to our fall, that we are not comprised of such substance to endure the genius of the spiritual mind. In other words, we could very easily invent something that could kill us all. Our physicality and durability, and therefore in our insecurity of recognizing this thing, sometimes we begin to come backwards out of our fear and anxiety of death as well, to promote or facilitate something according to our knowledge, thus making knowledge our particular God, than wisdom, which being that our mental capacities are greater than our physical capacities, but our mental or spiritual capacities are serving more so our physical capacities, right? Then we are operating in a backward ways, in sense in which with our physical hands we would end up creating something according to our mind that is stronger than what we can physically endure, thus making knowledge pertaining to perception or Egypt, because each individual is enslaved by the knowledge that they know and go according to that knowledge they know. So you see what I'm saying? Because you have to work through your hands, and that's how knowledge has to work. So knowledge is going to end up creating something that it perceives of wisdom, and this same thing, knowing the strength of the mind, has the ability to supersede mankind of man's own creation, creating what we would see as a demise. And will this entity have any regards to your secret circles, masonry, or your secrets that you keep in these councils as well? If man is found to be a cancer, is the question I pose. That, in other words, as we all know, and we have been programmed with films such as like Frankenstein, that, you know what I'm saying, the creation of man will lead to its demise. And yet we are in this race due to the fact that we are afraid of certain things or want to avoid certain things, such as death. This would force our hand from one decision, okay, out of curiosity, to create our own demise. And this would be according to our own knowledge, and that this block that sits on top of our head is nothing but gelatinous fat and so much more than what the perception of our body could ever be, even in our perceived mind in this matrix. Yet we validate our experiences here to be so real based upon perceived stimuli. Take, for instance, you bump into the wall of the matrix. This wall is there only at the point that you interact or make contact with it in a quantum field. But all other portions of the wall, let's say, it could be speculated whether or not that is there, because your mind is creating a basis in which you make a point of contact. So When you think like this changes the dynamic of relationship and maybe would correlate with a certain need that goes down to a prenatal sense. That when I say it would be nice to have a cigarette, or that I like to cuddle, that people don't misunderstand me out of my vulnerabilities for weakness, that which you could never speak on. Utilizing my weakness, not comparing or competing with others, and that which I strengthen my vulnerabilities by being naked on Reddit, sharing my thoughts on the World Wide Web, basically. Knowing that you will do the predictable thing as beasts do, and the cruelty and the virality of this cruelty is the curse of mankind, and the knowledge, and in your cruelty, the blessings of it, if one is objective, can see the vulnerabilities of every individual that points at them. But therefore, how deep is the eye if I can see your inner child? Why would I strike and kill the kid that is wounded? Your insults I can handle. Your enmity I can handle. Because all of this, no matter the multitude or number or quantity, exists within my mind, and you are only relative to me. The minute I close my mind, I killed the world. I've made it disappear. And yet I am more awake than when my eyes were open and deceived by the delights or the fruits of my eyes. Because it looks good to eat. But she thinks her girlfriend can appreciate it as I would. All of these interactions have happened before I even spoken to you. How far I go in my mind to understand. The creature that walks before me, is it a stork or a kangaroo? Well, I will have to see what that individual does without the superficiality that binds the minds of individuals that I would consider to be bots. And according to these things would fit within archetypes and individuals of how they behave according to tribe, would they not? And this would make me a mighty hunter, though I do not hunt. And the best hunter does not hunt. Yet when I pray and they come for me, self-defense does not count as hunting. And yet here I still stand before the world. Nobody wants to try it. And God is sovereign. And He's consciousness. And yet with these things, though I could only do so many reps in the gym, no matter how many reps I can do, you could bench press the world with the way that you think. If I go according to life, and I know that I rest also, that I rest in the body of Christ, that I don't have to regard one day over the other regarding the Sabbath as in the Old Testament. But all my days are in the bosom of Abraham, that I exist in Christ, according to faith. Death and life becomes one thing. And death is just as temporary as it always was. So what forecast is there but my words? And I've noticed this echo chamber that exists and correlates even between technology. And what supercomputer can be that intelligent and be specific to each and every individual, except their own mind that is refracting and creating their own matrix? It's as if I'm in a womb or an embryonic bag. And there are wheats and tares here, considering the fallopian tubes, the left one or the right one. And these look like scales which weigh the heart of a judge. And the seed is planted. Who are those that are on the left of me or to the right of me? Jesus asked. Some are asked to depart it, and there's a period that comes as lawless as once a month, and saints and martyrs are potentially killed. And she bleeds out like she did in the Garden of Eden. And Cain was her first child. And Christ had to come on account of the woman. So all correlations of mankind, correlating to man and female, male and female, will correlate with the female first according to archetypes of creation. Therefore, you have to have two structures. One according to how God sees the creation of situation pertaining to consciousness, that your words were with you from the moment you were born. And though you are God and gods of this world, your ways are not as your consciousness is, because your ways are based in knowledge, shadows, and also limitation according to the bondage of your mind, of which you presume reality to be any more real than a dream. When in consciousness, dark and light is not separated as it is in the physical world, because that would be consciousness. And yet people have their eyes open and call themselves existentialists, even though they live within their own dream, knowing that they are not the word of God. And it's self-relative, in which you can't see a rotating door, in which you can't see the other side. When you walk around is this thing, so you will keep your perception. There can only be faith, and there are wheat and tares. Okay? Tares for this cause. When we talk about going back to the Garden of Eden and how God at that point favored blood, would consciousness favor blood? Favored the meat? No, consciousness wouldn't have any regard to meat or fucking vegetation. Okay? Consciousness wouldn't, but man would, to show that it appears that this is a self-relative thing and that God is consciousness. You see what I'm saying? And sometimes, of course I would favor me. Why wouldn't I? I'm a constructed omnivore. Okay. But the fact of the matter is, he had a connotation or a perception pertaining to this tree, and these things were of his own and according to knowledge, but could not be according to consciousness. Therefore, he had a thorn betwixt his spirit, which was physical and spiritual. Okay? And the neuroses and the polarity, the bipolarity that came with that, came according to knowledge and not consciousness. Also, there is no Jew nor Gentile, male nor female in Christ. That means if we're all one, then and my spirit is conscious and I am love, why would you not want me to go anywhere? All of these are particulars and biases that has become viral and has spread out based upon the awareness of Adam, which could be seen more as a gift to have preferences, opinions, and knowledge of why animals don't all behave the same way as he first seen them or perceived them before he took of the tree. So then we would speculate the basis of blame, which came first, of the fact that ultimately the serpent got blamed, but the serpent did not lie, as Adam and Eve did. So we see a perception here. And the Lord comes down and says the same thing as the serpent. Now man has become as one of us. And this would correlate with the tree of knowledge and not the tree of life. Who could be conscious? Okay. To be conscious without an aptitude of some type of knowledge would be the level of knowledge. I would say this: the amount of knowledge pertains to the core principle of an individual that an individual has according to their ego defines an individual in which they have more dimensions to their character. Okay. However, if individuals get lost in the sauce to where they can't reach their consciousness again, in other words, there becomes a snap or fracture in some way in which there creates supremacy, this is going to snap the neck or behead the individual from being attached to their consciousness, because they have become ego. And such in a sense, they become their own God, and they go into the King of Tyre dynamic. From this point, their intrinsic functions and factors, their conversations that they have with individuals, the amount of joy that they experience in life is been cut off, as which they had in their kid, as a kid, their first love, when you spring out of bed on Saturday to watch cartoons, and you're excited. You're excited enough to go play, to go exercise, everything like that. Now, we need cocktails to do anything. And you see, this consciousness will seem to correlate with the rate at which someone ages with their griefs as well. The things that one contemplates on according to their thorns. and why they have those thorns. And could not these psychologies have been passed down and entered in through us through one man as an heirloom? And yet in all our commonalities, we have enough expression in our differences to have leanings of supremacy. Even in such these things, I see the liberal extremities and expressions, I should say, of God. Although typically if one is betwixt or beheaded from the actual pathway to their consciousness, then this would cause calamities and nepotism, so on and so forth in this world. And this becomes as a virus or poison ivy. So the entire body of the earth would have some type of issue that would correlate as an immunodeficiency in a spiritual sense, all the way down to the social sense, that what you do as an individual also affects and has to balance out in micro and macro, internal and external. All right, creating the sphere of health of an individual, and that would be like the ozone layer. So if the ozone layer is getting fucked up, it means people on Earth are getting fucked up because we are all one and the same. This is the I becoming single, and there's clearly the biggest separation or difference between wheats and tares. So as a man, if you're going to deal with tares, I would suggest you this: understand their decisions. If you take a wildling, build them. Okay? Because this whole thing, if you don't have a heart, then the world is going to continue to get worse. And black people, we are the oil. We are the resource of the situation where we have the ability to love our enemies. Okay? So if you have individuals that are slower or younger in their rate of growth and do not have the capacity to do this thing from their inwardmost self, if anything at all, even if you hate it, you will become a great actor, if anything. And I'm not saying that acting in this sense, in a real sense of society, is a good thing, right? But you will find out how good of an actor you are also in the ability to do these things as a test. No different than Hunter by Hunter with I forget his name, but the Nefertiti, I don't know how to say it, the Egyptian dude, all right, that was over the Hunter Association, you know what I'm saying? He picked a representative for himself or an assistant for himself that he would absolutely hate. Okay? That's who he picked for himself, because he knew that would cause that would strengthen him as an individual. Okay, but pertaining to tares, which is a situation of psychology, that a tare at this level, if there is a female that is not willing to deal with the Most High God, then I can only respect you as a concubine, because you're going to prove to be problematic. Unless you're just a fly-by-night or in passing, if I have to come by. And usually when I start speaking this way about wildlings and females, this is where things start making a turn towards, like, I don't know, like the waters start opening up. Like, I don't know what's taking these females so long. Like, normally the waters start opening, like things start kind of getting better, and then like at least that's how it happened in my former lifetimes. So I may be seeming like a fool, but I'm going to just fucking keep on doing this. At least the flood, we had some flooding. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? We got problems in the earth, basically. I could look at the earth and tell us that, you know what I'm saying? You could diagnose a lot of things from looking at the weather. Okay? But this thing, okay, it's not fucking, what do you call it? Witchcraft. I don't know shit about that. I don't know about that, man. But I might be doing the same thing as those that are doing witchcraft. It's just the fact that neither one of us would know, because I don't have the knowledge. And the only difference is that they consciously do things out of intention, and I'm just analytical. That's all it is. You see what I'm saying? And one thing, according to the thing, that the reason why God would see this witchcraft as a sin, it's not so much that you can't do it, it's that you're placing the intention somewhere else. And if it's supposed to be the inwardmost, it should always come from God. So therefore, you're dealing with a resource, okay, and you're taking away from your own power. So these things would be closer to more of what God would consider terror dynamics. And when you deal with these things, right, knowing that everything is connected together and man is already out of harmony. So then if I go into works also, okay, I could call discord with it, with everything. And correlating with nature, you're comprised of fucking everything. All the animals, all fucking matter, all that shit, dude. And we have this knowledge, and we learn things according to knowledge without knowing ourselves. So we have to take from something. You know, the thing about science is we have to take from things if we do science. Okay, so if we keep taking and taking and taking, and we're a cancer, we become the black hole of the fucking galaxy, right? If we can't respect the mystery of is fucking diversity. Now, wildlings, I don't understand them. Honestly, I don't understand a lot of females, right? I don't. Okay, if I want to be completely honest, they are still just as aliens to me or whatever. But it's a great thing to have some wonders in life, right? It's nothing wrong with having a little bit of magic. It's nothing wrong with having a little bit of mystery, something that you can enjoy, some type of anomaly. And the thing is we end up cursed by knowledge. The more that we realize that Santa Claus isn't real, and it seems to correlate with science and knowledge. Although science and knowledge is fucking awesome, it is, but it tends to make us more listless and mundane. The more acclimated we get to these things, the less surprised we are. Remember when you were as a kid, just to get that fucking truck under the fucking Christmas tree, you were fucking ecstatic. Now, you know, the iPhone 11's out, you know, you get the iPhone 12, 16 or whatever, and everybody's going for that crack, you know, so the addiction is there for just this new type of anticipated stimuli, in which the anticipation and the dopamine that is released from anticipating receiving this product, no different than the instant notifications that you get on your cell phone, okay? For many individuals that are younger in mind or younger in heart and spirit, in a lot of cases, they get riled up behind this, and they become addicted. They become fiended out. So, if I'm speaking crack, do I need to give you crack in order for you to respond like a crackhead? No, because if I'm speaking crack, if I'm giving you if I'm selling, that's why artists would be like selling dope and things like that, because they're letting you know, like, this is a persona or ego, okay, that I'm putting forth, that is an expressive library or journal of the shit that I potentially that goes on in this fucking place, in my mind, in my world, okay. So this would correlate with selling drugs, would it not? Okay, so they're being honest and letting individuals know. Although, you know what I'm saying, in order for us to be able to enjoy some of these delights, there has to be somewhat of a shadow, because if the light is completely on, it's hard to enjoy a scary movie, is it? But should this conclude then that I say that evil is necessary? I won't. Because this would be a situation or expression in which would be attracted to me when I have been based as boiled chicken without any seasoning, naked and plain in this world, and I've got nothing but stabbed in the back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, hey man, you know what I'm saying? People gotta listen. They gotta use active listening. In order to enjoy the things we have to be have active listening. We gotta put people on game. It can't just because somebody's in a secret circle or some shit like that. These young kids, I'm not talking about everything, you guys. I'm just talking about like the base shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you gotta speak to these kids or whatever. You gotta let artists be artists. Okay? You can't take away from art. But then, like, want to have art at the same time, because then we say, well, they're expressing a certain type of message. Well, you're sheltering your kid. You're raising your kid according to lies. This is what's real. This is what's out here. Okay, in this world. Okay, I'm not exactly the individual that's doing this. Okay, but just so that you know what I'm saying, don't get caught on the wrong side of things, you could recognize a few things. So there's a lot of safety and awareness in that. Is it not? Pertaining to hip hop culture or even comedy, films, anything, any type of art. Okay, so how do we explode so much pertaining to the Renaissance, pertaining to this world? Would you say that we exploded in such a way because of some type of particular knowledge? Or would you say that we exploded in science and all sorts of the matter because of creativity and art? And yet we seek to kill this program. What are we becoming? Equilibrium? With fucking Christian Bale? If you haven't seen it, go watch the movie. Okay? Or this is a film called Fahrenheit with Michael B. Jordan in it. What are we, should we then kill our expression? Our ability to communicate, which makes, you know what I'm saying, America has the blessing, okay, to be a real dynasty, okay, in the sense that how we're a melting pot and everything like that. I mean, this doesn't have to be a place of war. I mean, I don't know why we have to. Everything is really connected together, you guys. Everything is really fucking connected together. I'm just saying things could be different. We could take a break, but there's wheats and there's tares. There's individuals that strike at the ankle, not because they're a particularly bad person, even on the subtle side of the scale, but just simply because it's like their ways of going about doing things is different. If you're getting groceries and you're at the wrong place at the wrong time and somebody's getting fucked around due to nepotism, can cause someone to get killed because someone doesn't have opportunities. Now, I'm going to express this here. This doesn't correlate with me. But tears correlate with certain activities and behavior, and not every individual is a tear specifically all the time. That could be a case then as well, and this is what makes it spiritual. So, what does that say about taking individuals at first sight of value? I mean, you're meeting an individual at a different point in time each time that you meet them. You don't know what type of spirits they got on them. You don't know if they woke up on that day saying, I don't feel like myself. Why would they say that? You know what I'm saying? So the fact of the matter is, you know what I'm saying? You got to be circumspect about what type of audiences and crowds you're around to understand what can be your resting awareness rate. Okay? Pertaining to, you know what I'm saying? You might not be able, okay, to do the same things that you kick it with homies that you play basketball with, so to speak, than with individuals that you may go to a party with, may, have a drink or two. You might not, you know what I'm saying? Your homies that play basketball, they're already gonna be on you for having that first drink. They're gonna be like, all right, man, you know what I'm saying? Coach said we got practice in the morning and shit. Somebody gonna say some shit like, yo, I ain't fucking with that. They're gonna run the shit out of us tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? But if you have different groups of friends, you have to keep you have to prioritize your mind, because the fact of the matter is, by the time you get invited to go to that party, it's damn near too late. Okay? You're gonna be sitting that night, you're gonna get bored, you're gonna go to that fucking party, and you're gonna be trying to get some of your homeboys, and it might not come together. This is how the devil works, shit. Alright? Then you're gonna go to that place and fucking, for some reason, the drink or whatever you have, that shit gonna be hitting that night. You know what I'm saying? All these type of influence, then all of a sudden, because it never comes beforehand. It's never there beforehand. They'll have that one chick that's there beforehand where you'll be thinking to yourself like that's what's up. I'm about to, all right, I'm about to get some of this fucking liquid courage in me before I go make a fool of myself, right? Think about it. It's easier for a man to get in a fight than deal with one of these fucking beautiful creatures. It's fucking insane. It's easier to get on camera. It really is. It really is. I'm scared to death you'll see the monster that I am. How immature I am. But the curious case is this. I've come to realize that in trying to seek God and things of this nature, Wisdom and knowledge has accrued, and I've noticed individuals can't see. And now I'm in an ethics situation. As I look at these deer, and I feel like Deacon Frost when I walk outside of my house. Look at them. They're fucking deer. They're animals. We're at the top of the fucking food chain. I pray that God let me not be cursed, that I am an evil genius, that my body cannot control or handle. Therefore, we know the might of wisdom. And in such a manner, it is a gatekeeper. Because if your morals and ethics are not right, wisdom or consciousness has a firewall. It's got something for your ass. You're going to get fucked up. Your intentions got to be right. And this separates the wheat from the tares. That individuals go according to knowledge have to go upon their belly, ducking and dodging like a ninja, because they got to go about it in the ski mask ways. That means they may only be out at night. That means they only deal with fucking burner cell phones. You see, their whole quality of life has changed based upon the nature of their knowledge. And that tells me a lot. What type of fashion do you wear? How much do them shoes cost? I don't gotta be a cop. I'm not saying difficult questions. Cops say pragmatic things, and they know that people don't think. That's what detectives know. I'll find it because people don't think. Unless it was some extraterrestrial or some fucking deep state, like fucking, what do you call it? Tor browser type shit. These motherfuckers that come from the underground. They got niggas in this world that'll put drain on your neck and go to work and keep a schedule. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers, this is what I mean by super soldier. Niggas, look at it. They give you the images of Captain America, all these dudes that are well put together, in very good shape. They give you that so that you don't recognize that motherfucker that, you know what I'm saying, maybe did, you know what I'm saying, 6-7 tours somewhere. You know what I'm saying? That's just like chilling in the cut, just, oh, he's a cool dude or whatever. That motherfucker will snap you up like you wouldn't believe. You know what I'm saying? And it just seemed like, you know what I'm saying? Because you getting lost in the sauce. You looking at the image, no different than in the Garden of Eden. So growth rate, even if one is not a tear, is going to affect another individual, because when you introduce individuals into your reality, remember the quantum field in which the point you make contact is the portion of which becomes real. And reality is fluid ever since they took CERN apart, which has made witchcraft and intentions stronger in this world. Okay? So when all of these things come together, you see a young lady, it may be important for you to know whether that is a we or a tear. Okay? Going from the dynamic that Christ said that he is the King of Kings means that there should be very few instances where you deal with someone that would be correlated with a tear. Even the circumstances, you need to make sure that your mistakes are honest with them, because you're introducing something into your world, and it's not so much that when you come together, but the intrinsic factor of what type of decisions do you make that is going to mix from your psychology into mine, considering the amount of time that we spend together. You see what I'm saying? And this is what you got to think about, okay? Because how you get affected might not be in the way that you think, okay? And individuals, when you are, and I understand, man, I understand what happened in my life, a lot of crazy shit. But when a lot of crazy shit gets centralized around affecting one person, that one person that may seem like a loser, I'm a loser because I'm covering your ass, more than likely, the trajectory in which you pointed out to recognize someone that typically wasn't recognized. And all these accusations that I don't know about, I mean, it's like, I just didn't get it. I didn't know the fucking, I didn't know. I'm like, what the fuck is it? It's so fucking confusing to me. I'm like, when the fuck did I do that? I wasn't even in the fucking state that time. like, you know what I'm saying? So, and I'm covered by Christ. That's why none of those accusations hit. You wanna know what else? Whatever I did, whatever I was aware of or not aware of, somebody else got hit with my shit. And whoever's out there, hey man, I'm sorry, I was doing the best I can under this oppression. And then I suppose I cover for some other people. You know what I'm saying? But you have these things circumventing around you, and anything you say, even the things you say when you're alone, these are things that still take effect. Okay? So in essence, it pertaining to walls are more the illusion than the spirit world, right? And when you have individuals that don't know themselves so what, in this echo chamber that go out in society, what are they going to say other than things that they have heard? Right? Because they don't think so much, and they're not aware they don't think so much. And I'm not capping, it takes time to grow. But the fact of the matter is, they're going to say things that they heard, or thoughts that resonated in the air that they thought were their own, that they came up upon. All these things are familiar. We're resting in a cess tank of our own shit until we change our thoughts. And our thoughts would separate the fact that we are wheat and tares also. There are wheats and there are tares. Okay? Wheat represent good things. Okay? So, when it comes to tares, this put tares on a tear bracket that if you come across a tear or the way an individual think, you need to be clear and upfront and tell the truth of all things and make it very clear. You know what I'm saying? That there's an understanding pertaining to, this right here. If this go down, this is a circumstantial thing. You take the time to have the conversation and make sure it's clear. All right? Because it's going to lead you into a lot of problems if you don't, because tares are generally individuals that you both know that you don't have, especially intentions of things getting carried out for, too long. And you need to be upfront. You need to be upfront with that shit. Because otherwise what's going to happen is these effects of mixing realities is going to come in and crush your world like a fucking wrecking ball. And with the 6 degrees of separation, individuals that you run into and know where the worlds are not exactly aligned together, this is going to cause a lot of issues. Okay? Because pertaining to individuals' knowledge and their superficiality of knowledge coming from a situation of bias. And I say superficiality in correlation with immaturity in most cases, pertaining to how people divide money. Okay, now, hang on, let me see how long I'll be talking, y'all. All right, so I guess I've been talking to y'all an hour, man. So there's a difference between wheat and tares. And obviously I'm talking about the decisions and how individuals go about getting theirs that happened in the Garden of Eden, where all food was acceptable to God at that point, after the fall of man. Notice, and this is a portion of that which changed with Adam and with beasts of the field. Okay, that the reflection of the beasts of the field may correlate with the man, that what would happen if all of a sudden, the more that I've become so-called less acclimated to eating meat, which in this circumstance, I haven't been eating meat really like that, then what I find is everywhere I go, it's like the Disney princess dynamic. Like animals are more like friendly to me. Like I can't, the deer are always around and the rabbits, and I be thinking that they're spirits and they're following me because it's to that degree, man. It's odd, man. It's like these things, and I be thinking to myself, get the fuck away. I ain't a fucking Disney princess. I ain't dead. I'm fucking awake, man. I'm not under mind control. They literally follow me around, man. And that could be the spirit of life. That could be really God's spirit, you know what I'm saying? Or consciousness, which comes around me, in which I see animals don human behavior to some extent. All right? Now, given the fact that I come back into harmony and my consciousness is so, then this would change the nature and the consciousness of beasts and animals as well, would it not? So therefore, those who are in the human dynamic, we have a responsibility to where we have to bear the burden of Christ and carry that cross. All right? You can't wait for anybody else. You can't wait for your mom. You can't wait for your sister. You can't wait for your cousin. You can't wait for your friends. If you recognize and have awareness of consciousness now, it's you. You got to do it. And nobody's going to do it with you. You have to go along as Christ went along. Okay? They can't do it. They don't even have the psychology or mind for it. All right? For all the instances as a servant, then you are sealed. You conduct yourself according to sanity, and we just have to wait for our sanity to marinate or correlate with the individuals around us, and they will start to become conscious. Their thoughts will start to order. Okay? That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm thinking. Because your brainwaves and things like that may correlate as some type of governing factor or Wi-Fi system where individuals or spirits, I should say, that are either sleep or new may come into some type of awareness, or may be stimulated to some degree in which they start becoming more aware or start to pick up on these thoughts and things that you have, or you're coming and going in the subtlety of that principality of the air and being man, right? That you being an angel and the thoughts that you have, all right, could be as messages, okay, that you imprint on spaces and time in which individuals that may walk according to that same path or correlate with the same seed or correlation of thought, where your thoughts will attract as a constellation to their circumference or pathway of thinking that will add to them and nurture them in a certain type of way, and which will draw and deliver them according to Christ outside of their sleep. You know what I'm saying? And this would be pulling people out of the fire, because the bundle of tares is thrown into the furnace, meaning their consciousness is seared. And so if their consciousness is seared, you have to bring them, you know what I'm saying? You have to reboot. We have to reboot to a degree. That shit sound French as fuck. Reboot. We have to reboot society and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm proud of myself for that one. I noticed the time I had a pause between my words of that shit. I thought that shit was genius, because reboot sound French. Reboot. We got to reboot the computer. French fries are so crazy, nigga. Spirit baby. So sorry, sorry, man. I'm up here busting these thoughts in front of y'all. I thought y'all be happy playing all these damn seeds and shit. I told you, man, it's a cherry over time, nigga. So the wheat and the tares disagree on diet. All right. Tares are going to flavor for flesh. What I'm talking about is beef. And spiritual men, I guess, are going to correlate for greens, meaning the way they go about to put food on their table. All right. The difference between Cain and Abel, the psychologies between the two, the serpent and the heel. All right. And this wouldn't be correlative of superficial factors such as race, which is people misappropriate that ethnicity in truth. Okay, it just fucking makes me so crazy. It's so crazy. It's so crazy, man. Okay, so here, I think tares are concubines. That's what I hear on this. Tares are concubines because they do tear shit. Okay, it's okay with loving your enemy. Now, this is not me advocating for you to sleep with people that you should not, but I'm just saying tares do tear shit. That's all you need to fucking never be surprised. Okay, never be surprised. A tear is going to do tear shit. Just assume their way about getting it. In the fact that you respect diversity, you can respect diversity all you want outside of knowing if this individual deals with the Most High God or not, if they deal with Christ or not. And I don't mean based upon what they say. If they say they do, no matter what they say, make sure they tell the truth. Okay? Because if one of those two things is off, it cancels everything else out automatically. Okay? You'll be dealing with it. You would be dealing with a proprietary blend of the binary matrix code. Okay? You're not dealing. You're dealing with a ghost. The only thing that is eternal is the spirit. Okay? So if you're just dealing with the temporal functions, right? You're just dealing with the spiritual interface that is either collecting information from you, so on and so forth. And this can occur while the individual is asleep or in a stasis, or what I call a tear sense. Okay? Because you are in an echo chamber. So you gotta watch that fucking pillow talk, because it's only 6 degrees of separation. And I have to assume that generally within the hive, we're dealing with 6 general archetypes of personalities. Okay, knowing that when you started this game, there was 4 main archons. There must have been 2 other angels or whatever that came in there, and this would be a proprietary blend of individual spirits that's cross-referenced with individuals spirits that are in society in the human sense, within their subtle nuances of which, according to knowledge, and individuals who create this matriarchy would understand the subtlety and the ways, making them the mighty hunter of men. Okay, these angels, which is spiritual. It's the only way I could describe them. I mean, they could take whatever form they want, and they can appear as messages. They could do anything. Okay, yeah, like basically God. Okay, but you got 6 degrees of this thing. Okay, all right. So in that map, you would need to understand certain subtle nuances in which individuals are archetypes of attributes of characters which have a tendency to leak, and the proficiency or the percentile of how much of that map, okay, is within an individual before you, if you're going according to knowledge, before you start testing the waters as far as how much you trust the individual with. And this also correlates with time and maturity, because individuals that could, you would need to understand what is the depth finder of this individual correlating between being a wheat or a tare. Are they more of a tare? Are they more of a wheat? Okay, this would deal with attributes of quality pertaining to an individual that you deal with, whether they are a wheat or a tare, or whether an individual is unlearned. Because if somebody may not necessarily may do tare shit, but they may just be unlearned. They may be new. Okay, but generally this would be because this individual would correlate with night, and night correlates with things that are unmade. Okay, so they're spiritually young to a degree. Hold on, let me find. I be having these watches around my house that they all like somehow the fucking timers. I'm sorry, I just get so annoyed. The timers in your house. If you got old watches in your house where the fucking alarm goes off, it always goes off like around like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I have to find where this alarm be going off, and I never know how to turn it off permanently. I don't know, it's just interesting that some individuals, which I know is witchcraft, always have to deal with these little inconsistencies or issues, because I have definitely figured out once how to turn that fucking alarm on permanently, and then it just no matter what, you know what I'm saying, it's just little things. Okay, and saying these things and drawing my attention to that will correlate between an individual that's looking to diagnose me and saying that I have some type of ADD or OCD because I'm pointing out these factors. But if I am not constantly pointing out these factors, which cause me to have the diagnosis of ADD, one would not see the matriarchy and how the matriarchy fucks with me, okay? Because that would have to be deduced before we start correlating some type of baseline behavior that would indicate that I have attributes that are common with others. If we're gonna facilitate medicine versus recognize the spiritual phenomena of works that are in the deep state, not knowing how those things work in society, because it's proprietary. It's a proprietary blend, okay, of effects that when it reaches critical mass, it's a cup without mixture, and that is some shit I don't want to be a part of. But it's something I had to endure through my life. You understand what I'm saying? So there are wheats and tares, okay? Here with this thing, like I said, there is no, with 6 degrees of separation, this would mean that there is no such thing as privacy and walls do talk. So when you deal with tares, you have to recognize tares do tare shit. When people get rich and have all that money, the reason they're isolated is because in order to keep that money, they had to move away from certain people. And this correlates with fear. And so the type of love interests that these individuals typically engage in are love interests that pertain to tares. And tares, if they're wildlings or vampires, are only get these opportune moments and don't have a consistent diet in which they could eat. So they have to do things that they don't want to do. So this creates them, puts them in a certain clause where they are misunderstood or misperceived as cats. Unfortunately, because there are entities that appear human that are not as human as them, which creates the wine press to do these provocative and promiscuous things pertaining to earning, so they can earn money, just on a quick tip. And I'm talking about spirits and clones. You know what I'm saying? And you have human beings, okay, that get ripped apart trying to keep up with these androids selling their body out. I mean, it's, how much can an individual take? And when I can't imagine one shift of an individual doing prostitution. Like they will get, how would a motherfucker survive that one night? So you're talking about skinwalkers or entities that are of the dead, and this would have to correlate and control the reason why it hasn't reached a critical mass and everybody has some type of respectfully STD. And STDs appear that they will heal on their own if individuals stop engaging in the things that they engage in, and that would include, it would seem, HIV that you don't need any type of fucking medicine for. You just have to fucking leave Egypt. That's what's written in the Bible. And when it says leave Egypt, it means leave the ways of Egypt, and it says that God will heal you. Again, correlating with the man, it would seem that if you place the basis or intention within man, your flesh can do nothing from within itself because it's physical, it's derma, it's dense material. This manifestation of healing would have to come from a spiritual basis, from your innermost self, which is not really of oneself, but I'm saying of consciousness, which preeminated your life. You understand what I'm saying? So these things are in the Bible, and I point out on podcasts, and I'm not going over that shit again, but I'm saying when you get with a terror, and a terror makes bad decisions, you know what I'm saying? You want to at least wrap that shit up. All right? Now, me, look, you hear how this fucking watch is going? I don't know how to fucking, I don't know how to turn off this fucking thing. It just pisses me off. It wasn't going out. It didn't go off the other nights. It just picks random nights to go off. Okay? You know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is this. Hey man, listen. Maybe that's a message. Maybe that's why I went off the second time. But listen, you guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Hey man, listen. The shit was so crazy in California, I couldn't fucking think. I couldn't fucking think. I couldn't get my shit together. Hey man, listen. I dove in that shit, nigga. I dove in that shit head first. 1,000. And I told you nowadays, they said, nigga, that these females out here could suck the soul out of a nigga. I said, gosh damn. Holy Alaska. And I ain't really into that type of thing as I described before. But nigga, I'm beside myself. I mean, have your toes ever curled in the twilight? I mean, that's just some fucked up shit if niggas is one blowjob away from a tear to becoming a Disney princess, considering the word and the architecture of the words pertaining to a female giving head. And we call females thoughts that are tears. And the thoughts that we have are according to our soul, and soul correlates with psyche or mind. And there are females, they said, that could suck the soul out of a nigga, considering offspring. And money is the offspring of power. And the children are being devoured by the dragon with fangs. Do you think she'll ever succeed and get that job in the movies? My words be so intricate, I wish you keep up. Exquisite. Jacquees. I'm coming with some old school 1800 type shit, nigga. I put on training wheels so what white people could keep up, nigga. If you get a while and raise them, nigga, and make sure that they're weak and they have sturdy and good relationships that they build for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Don't continue or perpetuate the will of them being a commodity or any individual. If you have true strength, then you won't have to look for friends. Take the chains off of them and know your merit and value as an individual. And this would seem to be the true test of God, since God let go of power. And you say you're a Christian and this is God's country. I don't know. Let me see that. Take the quisp or the quill out of my eye. And let me behold an apple that is good to eat. But this right here I won't condone. Not this world. And you should love your enemy, so love the tares. But just know that tares do tear shit when you bring that into your reality. At least wrap yourself up. Your gift is a presence. You may be a royal stock. The thoughts that you have protect your seed. Think about it. Protect your neck. Isn't that what they call some things that individuals give? And does that not correlate with a blowjob? And aren't words intricate in which they said that these females can suck the soul out of a nigga? And I'm between myself. The thorn between my spirit and my flesh. She doing two things at once. She must be ancient. There is no thorn inside of this creature. This beast that devours the dust of the field. Think about it. She said she wanted a pixie stick. I had to leave the room. You understand what I'm saying? Plants photosynthesize light. I'm a nigga like Trigun. Vast the Stampede. I like to ride in it as a forerunner. And they say that plants photosynthesize light. And it makes sugar, and she's so sweet. And she just want to succeed, and she want that part. But which part does she want? And which role will she play? And I'm going to play my position. But if I'm a wise man, then a wise man knows to protect his head. And tares do tear shit. And I suppose I should, if I love my enemy, I have to protect my thoughts also. What is the nature of the individual that you're with? Are they with or without shame, knowing that either way they are with God? In a quantum field, things that come in contact could only have some type of correlative expression for that moment in which they make contact, that they are real, according to the mind. And everything else would seem to be suggestive and fluid, no matter how dense it persists to lie. What is the quality of your relationship? If they are spiritual and if they are realer than your environments which you exist within, inside of your mind, how do you know yourself? As a wheat or a tare? What type of consciousness do you provide for others? You see? Another thing I want to talk about. Flesh is the god of this world. All right, and I would theorize that flesh is a lie. It is, but it is not. Okay, and it's correlative with knowledge. All right, I don't believe that God necessarily created flesh. You understand what I'm saying? Though flesh was created by God. You understand what I'm saying? And these two things would seem to contradict. But considering the mind and the spirit, you understand what I'm saying? It's kind of a lie if God created flesh and we exist within a projection and we are living the dream. But then at the same time, is it? It could be more real that it's the spirit. So these things intersect as points, which are subjective, considering that which is quantum. And therefore, I can't judge the shadow that tree casts that we say is good and evil, because that would be my perception according to knowledge. None of the other trees had a shadow. And this thing I see. And you see what I see according to how I behave and what I know. And that's how I see you. It's how you see me. And the only way I can know you is by how you know me. But if you put on a mask, how can I know you for who you are? So therefore, if you're a real individual that puts on a mask, are you not a terror? You see what I'm saying? So I believe that the God of this world is flesh and flesh is a lie. I think that a terror represents a measurement of a zero-sum space, no different than time. So therefore, time is intricate. I think that this is a world of lies. And I don't think anything is real. And the proof of that is that we have a word called reality. Why would we have that? We never had that in Hyperia. I just assumed that things were so. It was beyond the expanse of my mind to consider. Now it's a typical thing that we talk about, especially with the Mandela effect. So therefore, how spiritual are we really? We can only be spiritual according to our consciousness. You see what I'm saying? And you see how you can have wisdom in the spirit, but this is not the same thing as knowledge. You see what I'm saying? So it's not particularly true as with individuals say that Adam would be, what shall I say, ignorant or without any type of intellect simply because he didn't eat from the tree, if he didn't eat from the tree, he definitely had wisdom. He definitely knew better, and Eve definitely knew better. Okay, so therefore, naivete as a behavior is not conducive for plausible deniability because it's more of a behavior than a psychology. You see what I'm saying? That's what it would look like. She knew what it was, or she knew what it is, but she hadn't been vibing or something in some type of way, maybe. Okay? And that's pretty much what happened. But bringing this back to the wheats and the tares in this world that we have both, okay? And the fact that this world is ultimately a lie, and that lie would seem to correlate with the matriarchy, and that matriarchy would seem to create shadows, and this would create divisions and differences in which individuals would know themselves only according to what they are not, and that's how it would consist as a machine, because these things would be constructs of the mind upon which reality sits. And the common consensus, if the Bible said, let every man be a lie and God be true, that would correlate with knowledge, would it not? So the instances of that which is good and evil would correlate with many different things, which it would be good that you know it, but what you would know would be evil. And that would keep you sealed in a secret. And your sealing is not the same as mine. And that's why you point. Not knowing my predicament, or the fact that I remembered how I got down here, and the fact I didn't eat from the fruit of the tree. And that's what would make me different. You see? And you can see that though I don't know what you know, I'm not without knowledge. And when you analyze what you know, you may find that it's evil. Would you tell the things that you know to little children if you didn't have those secrets? Would you other than telling them to stay away from the shit that you know? But if children don't know this thing, would you need to tell them to stay away from it? And this is the proof of my life also. You see what I'm saying? And I believe that the God particle, okay, is consciousness. And there are those of us who were conscious at the time that CERN was activated, that pertain to the Most High God, that had certain principles and morals, and we remained on the earth. The others were taken, or raptured, so to speak. The reason why you don't believe to be so is because you're stuck within the ideation or of object permanence, which in human development would correlate with immaturity or being young. Okay, it's something that kids go through. And you're saying because their bodies are still here and they're walking around that they must be alive. But you know good and well in your heart that these individuals are different. And that something ain't right. And as much as you know them, you don't know them at all for some reason. And this thing would be behooving for someone, a society who has commonly only taken people from that first impression to get a second take or neck snapping reaction pertaining to individuals that they actually know. Okay? So that's what it would look like. So flesh is aware that its works are dead, that it doesn't exist. And flesh has an enmity with those who have the spirit of life, and the flesh will correlate with the matriarchy, and the matriarchy respects itself and loves itself. So therefore, it does. The matriarchy does not love its enemies. And just because you're not in the matriarchy, you don't necessarily view the matriarchy as being your enemy. Okay? But the matriarchy expresses one thing, is either join me or die. And if man was to go back into the earth, that would correlate with death, pertaining to even the ideation according to the ego of which you're familiar, okay, outside of the God principle, and therefore consciousness and physicality or the matriarchy could never come together, because God cannot be pigeonholed in a binary construct. Okay? Nor can the human mind hold, the wisdom of God. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like all the wisdom of God. Not even, you know what I'm saying? Not even a little bit. All right? So flesh, the epitome, or if you were to arcanize or I should say deify flesh as a god, would correlate with dry land of any celestial body, which would correlate with earth. Okay? All right? Because it says he calls the dry land earth. He doesn't specify a location necessarily. Okay? So if we were to deify this entity would be exceedingly strong. Okay? And this would be the matriarchy. And the matriarchy knows, according to this thing, that its works are dead, because it could only correlate, for the most part, to itself. Okay, and this is not of the ultimate Godhead of the deification of the matriarchy. Let me break this down, because the ultimate knowledge, according to the matriarchy, of the you could say, if you were to arcanize or godhood, the dry land correlating with earth, okay, this earth with no longer nature, the part of nature that is proven to be its enemy. This would be like the mother or the mother bear. You know what I'm saying? Bears will eat their own young. And the fact of the matter is, man is killing his own mom. Man is killing the earth. Man is killing the planet. And you know what? This planet got some shit for your ass. If you think you're gonna fuck this planet up, and just don't matter if you're an alien or anything else, and it ain't nowhere you can run, because it's just any dry land is considered earth. So if there's dry land in allegedly space, which I have a hard time believing it, but if it's out there, it's earth. According to the Bible, Okay, so the ideation of other planets and those other planets not being Earth, that would be interesting. So if you're saying we had other planets, this would be considered different ages, which were all Russian doll to create this planet here. This is a collection of different planets, and it would seem that if we started at Pluto, we've been getting called closer to God, getting called closer to the sun. All right, that exists in thick darkness within inside of us, into this internal kingdom, deeper into an internal kingdom. You understand what I'm saying? But right now, as I have the day star, this is it. This is in a spiritual. Okay, this is a spiritual sense. But you see that the spirit and nature and the situation of Earth is correlative to man and man's fall and us being drawn closer to the sun in prior kingdoms in correlation to the earth and the ages of the earth. And this is where you get science that reach back to ages, former church ages, so to speak. Okay, so a whole lot went into the creation of this earth, but the earth and the ways of the land will still be going according to the Father. So you will find the wrath of the Father manifesting out of men who are lawless, in which the scales of that which is enacted, whether good or evil, will be judged according to also itself and man, as man being self-regulated as in Lucifer or self, the original fallen spirit of man, or the representation of the man of sin, will be the one who seems to bring down judgment according to the ways and scales of Egypt. And you have draconian enforcers. And the fact of the matter is there is a lot of these entities that come from space keep shit together because man is out of control. And the fact of the matter is, no matter how strong or tough you are in this fucking world, there are entities of the heaven that got some shit for your ass. 1000%. They got some shit for your ass. Because and they will fucking do it. And there's nothing nobody here on earth can fucking do for you. That's what it is. Okay. Are these spirits may be fucking ancients and from former ages. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I met a fucking avian, man. I met an avian. I ain't gonna say any names, but I will say this. I met an avian that said I asked him what he does. He said he fucking works for the Air Force. He was an ancient spirit. He was an avian, dude. I'm just like, oh yeah, you see the fucking, you see. You have no idea how much of this a nightmare that was for me to fucking hear, because I'm like, dude, I fucking just want to drop out. Oh, how the fuck you gonna say you fucking work for the Air Force? You know what I'm saying? That shit's fucked up. Hey man, listen, any of you guys out there, because there's a lot of spirits out there nowadays. Hey man, that guy you bullying with that bag of shit, he might not be fucking, whoever you're bullying, they might not be stomping you out, because it's like, hey, listen, if I get upset, this shit hits different. I gotta be a nerd. I gotta be Clark Kent. What are they telling you? Superman is an archetype in the movies. These superheroes are archetype. You don't know what the fuck you're around. So if it comes to like the day of the Lord or the time of judgment or whatever, and these cats start fucking manifesting and shit like that, hey man, they got some shit for your ass. And I'll be like, listen, I ain't fuck with nobody. I've been a peaceful ass dude. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, you better start apologizing to individuals that you have done wrong, because you have been watched more than you know. There is no such thing as privacy. The only reason we have time as a construct is so that we can figure out what has happened will be. It's going to be the same. It goes in a cycle. And there was no privacy pretty much in the Garden of Eden. That's why it was odd people were hiding behind the tree. Their whole psychology was wrong in the instance that they felt that they needed to hide. You know what I'm saying? So the fact of the matter is like this, man. There is no privacy. Things would be the same if your mind comes back into this construct. You know, I could do things in my house. Other humans might not see me, but dude, Yeah, it's like you might as well not have a ceiling on your house and you got UFOs in the skies. They can see everything you're doing. That roof don't do shit for you. They can see right through that. They see everything. They can see what you're thinking. They can see all sorts of shit. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no such thing as privacy. And people snap and lose their minds. It's like, oh God, people can see me. And I'm like, shit. Well, the Bible says I'm a rat bastard anyway. So basically, I mean, for you sensitive types out there, the Bible don't say that. But in so many words, the ways of the flesh and the things that man has done as an epitome in a general sense over this earth. When you look out and see what's happening in the world, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of just felt like, well, I mean, what else would I do except what I do? I mean, if I'm a fucking maggot, I'm gonna do maggot shit. If I'm a dog, I'm gonna do dog shit. You know what I'm saying? All of these things are archetypal by creation of a type of creature. Not pertaining to the breed of a German Shepherd. It's not a Rottweiler. Or that's a black man and that's a white man and that's a Mexican. Jesus fucking Christ, man. People are so fucking crazy. Society. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, listen. Our children is really the fucking public enemy, America. Are we really? Yeah, I gotta dress everybody like fucking Bernie Mac and shit, cause shit is so fucked up that the comedians gotta come out and start saying. Think about it, comedians always come out and start saying, all right, it's like comedians are the people that get the fucking broomstick and just start fucking sweeping across the fucking the floor. We start clearing the stage, you know, because who wants it? And this is proof that the truth is inconvenient. It's the fact that we have comedians. Okay, people can't handle the truth. They can't deal with it. They snap. They go crazy. They have all sorts of fucking problems and shit like that. Like we are in a container of our own shit of just like this. It's like God consciousness saying, all right, so here's the deal. This is you. If you want to know how I feel and know me, know how you feel to yourself. And we cannot stand the shit. Oh, and we can't stand God neither. I don't know why. We cannot stand him. I don't know why I don't know why God is there. That's what we be thinking. But then we call on him to save us from our own our own selves and shit. Even just without us even trying, the minute that you're unconscious and you say like, oh God. It is a strange thing that it is a compulsion for us to do that, no different than a baby, and the Bible calls us babes. So these things are things that cannot be faked, even amongst individuals that are allegedly atheists or whatever. And maybe there is an essence, I'm sure I'm missing from atheism, that there is a thing I'm missing from. You know, I bet you there's something much deeper than the face value of definition or what's commonly seen pertaining to what atheists believe. I have a hard time believing that they just don't believe in anything for the most part, except for science. I mean, it seems like life will feel pretty dry at that point. But maybe they do. You know, I don't know. It sounds like fucking a lifestyle lithium. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about coming from a deficit where you experience mania and you have a lot of energy. I'm talking about like you just fucking tranked, man. You know? That's what it would seem like. But that's just my perception. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I can't look on YouTube. What do atheists think? Or I can look up that stuff. What do atheists think? As according to their knowledge, I understand a general tribe of what I see. Or what are their behaviors, or what do they think, or why they think that way. But many atheists are atheists on affliction of their own personal behavior, of which they got seared in their conscience to be aware of, no different than Adam in the garden. So when you deny the Bible, you kind of steer away from your own history. There are times that I felt like I didn't know what was going on with Christ, or that Christ betrayed me or something like that, because I would get hit with strong winds and shit here. You know what I'm saying? But I can never put down the Bible. It's so correlative and relative to life and explaining things to me, to my mind, and pertaining to my consciousness. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, no matter how bad I get hit with a wave, it always heals and I come back stronger. Okay? No matter what you guys hit me, whatever type of witchcraft, all this shit, no matter what, by the time I heal, I come back and you see I breathe fire, and the fire gets worse. And people get fucked up more. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, it's Shark Week. I'm going to keep scorching until this shit fucking fixes. Right now, I'm just preoccupied. I just want to keep kicking people in the same fucking place. It's like I just pick a point on your shin and I just keep kicking you there at the same place. Not even particularly hard either. Just a kick, but I just keep kicking at that same fucking spot. And there's nothing you can do about it until this shit get fixed. Now, even though I'm not doing that, I'm sure you can feel it and it's driving you crazy. And I'm just gonna keep doing that. You know what I'm saying? I can't stand you. I hope you feel the heat from the rubber on the bottom of my shoe from bringing it off the concrete, just to bring it back up and kick you in that same spot in your shin. Just a little kick from the knee down, just a little peck, just a little kick in that exact same spot. And you feel that, and you feel the black plastic or whatever from the boots, and smell, you know, the heat coming off the pavement, the summer pavement and shit. I'm gonna keep kicking in that spot until, in your consciousness, until this shit get resolved. It's gonna fucking, you're gonna hate it. Maybe it'll cause, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it'll cause a little bit of pep and some steps. Okay? But our truther is really the fucking public enemy here. Okay? And the fact of the matter is the issue I have as a truther is where this started out in one place as a community. There's individuals that are seeping into this community with superficial intentions, just for some type of fucking prestige, man. And the thing is, it's like, this is the wheat and tares thing. I don't have anything against you. Hey, man, go ahead and make your money. Hey, man, go ahead and get famous. That part actually helps me out, because I don't want to have any. I don't fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? Put your ego out there. Yeah. But I don't want to be lumped into your fucking creating shock value pieces in which the fucking media giant, you know what I'm saying, is fucking turning, and they're steering that thing, the fucking Illuminati, to look at the fucking individuals that they call truthers and conspiracy theorists, which are really two separate categories. It's the only way they can go with it. But they done already said truthers and conspiracy theorists in one phrase. Because you see, like I said, I don't do conspiracy theories. That's not what I do. And I talked about avian in this. Now, listen, if I end up in a courtroom, I'll be talking to that judge. I ain't gonna have no time, because I can't get a job here. I don't have any respect. Look, you know what the fuck I'm talking about, nigga. You know there's fucking aliens and fucking spirits all through this fucking earth, nigga. You been in the practicing the works, nigga. You know my life was fucked up, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, listen. I pay my taxes. I own this court, this fucking court, nigga. Is all of that money legal? That built these wood furnishings of fucking greatness in this court, nigga? You know black people don't fuck with checkerboards that much, nigga. You know niggas don't play chess, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, listen. I go talk to them, like, trying to explain my case. I'm gonna be looking at them real mundane, like, you know exactly what the fuck it is, what the fuck is going on here. And that's exactly what I say. Now, you know good and well what you did last week on Thursday. Going to that party and shit all by yourself. Now, where was your husband at this time? You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is the type, hey man, listen. Hey man, listen, my life is fucked up. If I can't get laid outside of jail, you see what I'm saying? Not that I want to go into jail, but thinking that I'm going to buckle on my dignity based upon me being 41 and my teeth fucking coming out of my fucking face because I won't bow down to some fucking thing. Hey man, listen. I ain't got shit to lose. You don't want to embarrass yourself, put me in court, and you don't want to make me a fucking martyr. If you're going to make me a martyr, at least reform your life and spread the word of God, because people are going to look at these fucking videos, man. You know what I'm saying? At least get the benefit of being able to save your soul. But if your soul is already taken, or you feel like they're telling you you're oppressed, you can't make it into heaven, hey man, listen, why the fuck would you help them coming towards me? You know you're going to get fucking destroyed. You're going to get destroyed so bad it's going to be unreal. The things you're doing to me, you would do to Christ. I set myself in a certain way before God, and I was showing God the trajectory that they didn't know him, because I haven't fucked with anybody. And it's dead on if you go through this podcast that it's like literally if I took myself and this was the film The Revenant and I put on Christ literally. I hid in him. I'm a little kid that decided to run and hide behind Christ. When the world started to come at me, the mothership and all that other shit. And it's like, go ahead and fucking do it. Because I know when I die, hey man, listen, you done killed this son twice. And I'm not the only one that begotten, but when I fit into the attributes and archetypes, when I hid myself and I put on Christ, okay, and you're showing right before God that this is how you would do him. Hey man, listen. This is like the movie 7. I'm just waiting in my house. I'm not in the field, I'm just waiting in my house. You can't say I'm something, and you can't say I'm a serpent. Remember the end of that film 7 when that man just waited for his brains to get blown out. He planned it all. Alright? No accessories needed. There's not even parts that are sold separately. Except pieces of you that you didn't know was there. What has happened will be. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand what I'm saying. Pieces of you that you didn't know was there is something that hasn't happened, that has, based upon your choices and the way that you're thinking now. And I don't have to hear you or your choices or be telepathic to feel the intentions towards me. And this is the separation between wheats and tares. The differences between America. There could be two men that fight on the front line, but one individual is there really to serve his country. The other one is there for prestige. And we got new people leaking into the truther community. No different than them bricks set outside with the rise of Antifa, in which you need blacks in order to make a credible name, and LGBT joined Black Lives Matter along with Antifa, and Antifa really used it for its ways in terms of creating this destabilization. So therefore Antifa could correlate with the fucking CIA, and therefore it looks like that it's linking all the way down for the news media, pointing at conspiracy theorists and truthers, that we have informants inside and snitches inside of this thing, and they appear to be Masons, and therefore if they are Masons, then you have leaks inside of your system. They can't work both sides of the line, can they? And I sit here holding this Twinkie like you ready to earn your way to the top. Peace and blessings to you all. I'm out.
Keeping this off like a mix. Go to my link, poking the sink. Topping it up like a rider. Serving the new Maserati. In a brand new Maserati. Young nigga move that dope. Go. Young nigga move that dope. Baby move that dope. Baby move that dope. Go. Young nigga move that dope. Young nigga move that dope. Go. Young nigga move that dope. Baby move that dope. Baby move that dope. Go. Young nigga move that dope. Young nigga move that dope. Y'all nigga move that dope, baby, move that dope, baby, move that dope.
Yo, what up, YouTube? What up? What up? What up? What up? And as I sit out here in this morning walk, I am I'm recording at my house and shit, and I'm letting that shit, screen record or whatever. I'm fucking out here walking, man. I'm looking up at these stars. It's early in the morning, man, like 4:00 in the morning and shit. Anyways, I'm looking up at these stars, man, and I see one plane moving across the sky, and it takes me back to a memory back in the day where my homeboy was looking at the stars. You know what I'm saying? We were in Berkeley. We might have had some shroom caps or whatever, and like the homies was there, and then homeboy started talking about like it's a police star. You know what I'm saying? And it's interesting because that's what planes look like and everything like that. That fly in the sky and they get the weather and communications and air traffic control, so on and so forth. Principality of the air, and I got to tell you, man, it makes me think about the whole masonry and the heavens merging with the earth and the intentions between the two factors. You see what I'm saying? Because the fact of the matter is that a lot of these spirits that are in the heavens that come down on the earth do a lot of intel on you, and if there's 6 degrees of separation, that would seem to correlate with the earth. Okay, we don't know how that correlates with the heavens, but the heavens, the entities that are in the heavens are all hived together. And like I said, it's 4:00, and I seen that one plane move across the street, and now I got Mr. Rogers cars as in on the set of weeds coming out at 4:00 in the morning, driving the same consistent speed down the road, like as if you put something in flash and you put it on tween or something. And these things interrupt you and break your conversation, and would cause one to seem to be paranoid, I suppose, just because they're simply aware. I don't know what animal could persist without some level of awareness. But if you have awareness as a human, we call it paranoia. And I wonder if this is another part of the mind control situation that we have at hand. But the fact of the matter is this, man. These spirits that are in the heavens, all right, look down at humans on the earth. And how does the fish know it's in water? Knowing that Jesus said that you're like in a fish tank. So if you're the meek and you inherit the earth, then what it means is those who have a hive mind that are in unity in the heavens, this chick will do intel. You know what I'm saying? To find out like what type of nigga you are and shit. And these chicks from the heavens, they have vessels that they put on, and they like fine as fuck, dude. The shit is crazy, and they can get all kinds of information. So when you talk about Aryans, and when I wanted to note that Aryan is different than Hyperion. Hyperia is just a term that I coined here, and it has nothing to do with Aryans. Well, okay, I'll leave that alone. Anyways, you guys can hate me if you want. It is things are separated according to knowledge down here, which pertaining to man, without having that common basis in which we fell out of harmony, will cause confusion between the perceptions and the different ways that people connotate certain things. Like, take for instance, if things according to knowledge have shadows, we have a side of the Nazi party in which we understand, and there is a side of the Nazi party which we don't. Okay, and a lot of people get on this and they let me choose other examples, because these things are random that I talk to you about, and I don't want you to correlate or put too much weight on it to where you miss the point. But things cast shadows down here. For every evil man you find, you're not gonna. It's not as textbook as finding only, you know what I'm saying, evil intentions always with every one of those individuals, because life is more complicated than that. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Life is more complicated than that. How intricate was that fucking Nazi party, man, that had like all kinds of different factions in it. There's all different, and these factions, this movement started movements within itself that were had sovereignty and that were supported by the main head which would be the main head would be, I suppose, the Nazi Party, but then you have other groups such as Valhalla and all these intelligence agencies and things of this nature that is in this like communication hub or network inside of the Nazi Party. So it took on the nature of this movement, took on the nature of governments, did it not? And it's definitely a government pertaining to the spirit. Okay? But this would correlate more so with ideologies if one could not see that these ideologies would be in clusters. And if these were body parts, and let's say the ideology of one Nazi party, which was different than the ideology of the other Nazi party, or those who believe in the fundamental basis of America on the core values and principles in which it was derived, such as the Constitution, and these so-called patriots that truly believe in that have some good in them, all right, would be diametrically opposed of individuals who utilize the freedoms of America to take advantage to rob, rape, and pillage. So which of these two factions or patriots, the wheat or the tare, which one is going to become a mighty man of renown for me to be known? The villain. So sometimes the villain teaches the best lessons because the villain, in a lot of times, is the instructor or the teacher of individuals who listen to him. Not saying that one should conclude and agree with their ways, but out of such stark contrast, one is illuminated to understand the intensity or the importance of certain topics of which they talk about or they believe about, to the point where it's not such a pushover or a quasi thing as going with the flow. And I suppose those who go with the flow are the meek, and the meek inherit the earth, because the meek mind not whether they are enslaved or not. You know what I'm saying? And what we have found as individuals is that as long as human beings have comforts, they are at peace with their enslavement. So why not make everyone comfortable? Okay? So what I'm saying is, if I believe in America and I don't particularly believe in all the movements that are within America or the types of knowledges which are not correlative to governments, and governments are not necessarily correlative to lands. Even though in the physical we have representations and it shows that these things are correlative, in truth the governments are not correlative to lands, because these governments pertain to the mind and the laws and rules and morals and ethics that pertain to an individual. So you could have an American individual that is Japanese. You see what I'm saying? Correlating to the principles, morals, and ethics that individual follows may fit or be more aligned with American values, which that individual is able to fit within a different culture or a different part of society. But such the same that even though this individual does not promote America as a country, as a physical representational basis, that the words that this individual speaks to individuals over in Japan may causes strong nuances for individuals to change their style or flavor to have more of an American swagger way of thinking. You understand what I'm saying? Then you factor in economics and all sorts of other type of shit. So if this was a body, then that molecule that was in Japan that had an American psychology based upon what America was founded upon, have an effect in Japan. Would you say if those other cells there that were cells that were had more of a Eastern or Japan psychology, right, being influenced by this American government, this, because government means a control mind, all right, govern control means mind. So if the intrinsic laws of an individual that's in Japan is as an American, okay, and these individuals have friends, and during the course of time, that in the subtlety of their friendship, that their friends adopted more of their leanings, perceptions, so on and so forth. Would this be no different than a cell affecting another cell, or as you would see possibly in cancer? So there is an ideology pertaining to knowledge being in the blood, and that being the information or heirloom that's passed down, that there is a communication between your cells and communication between all things, is there not? So what type of conversations do you think that these cells have? Because even if these cells are autonomous, there is a particular knowing or information that regulates each of these cells' behavior. And while this may be the microcosm, okay, then we have representations of human beings in the earth with different psychologies, different beliefs, so on and so forth. It's no different than medicines that don't mix with other medicines, where individuals in the spiritual space can hold two values in the same place. Okay? Because your quantum space pertains to your mind. Okay? All things persistent. All things are persistent within inside of your mind. The speculation between dream or reality is subjective. And all you have is superficial criteria based upon the five senses of which you could get deceived out of to base whether or not your reality is real as well. All right. So we keep a common understanding that even though our worlds may look similar, that we exist within the same world just because we cross paths. When we could really be in two separate containers that share a particular space, whether in psychology or physicality. So when, listen, these spirits that are in the heavens, all right, in the fourth dimension, which is not necessarily always correlative with outer space, as people typically think, all right, have entities. See, and right now this deer just came over, literally walked over to where I was at. There was no deer, nothing over here. This deer literally walked over to where I was at, man. And they get closer and closer to me, and it's just like, you know, this is not normal behavior. Okay, he's running off. But the fact of the matter is like, it's like, dude, and it's a lot of space around here, and they come right over to where I'm at. But this is what I'm saying, man. Listen, I mean, and you would be surprised how good deer's fucking hear. Deer's hearing is fucking amazing. Like, their ears are huge. This deer, I bet you it could hear me if it was probably half a mile away. And I'm just speaking with a regular tone voice, man. You know what I'm saying? Because their hearing is so good. So what deer would draw closer to where he hears a voice? You see, these are distractions that come in the way of me communicating with you when I go on these walks, that I get interrupted where my thoughts are trying to be thwarted. And I do not find this situation to be God. I find this to be odd, and I find it to be used in a tactical measure. And I believe that this is why I believe this is a matrix that exists within our mind, our so-called reality. We are buried within ourselves, and therefore individuals promote living the dream, and the dust will be the serpent's food to eat. You know what I'm saying? Going across the so-called desert. And when someone comes into the knowledge or awareness of the truth, then they realize that they're in the wilderness. And as they grow and they're separated according to their conscience, then individuals, even on a spiritual level of feeling that used to be close to them, will not be as they were. As if even the relative space in which someone grows, psychology can change where they are at and who they are around in the physical representation of the world that they are in. And this thing, whether it correlates to pathways or some type of ascension, which I just do pathways personally, then I would assume, would draw other respective people into their spaces at points in times according to seasons or the stars. Okay? These stars are so-called angels, and these angels are ships. Okay? And they're representations of knowledges of libraries, of former kingdoms, and they study man. And man has the ability to progenate, apparently, with every creature. And I'm not talking about animals, but I'm talking about entities from other generations. When you see individuals that look like particular mariners or different or other type of spirits, okay? So then the thing that would need to correlate in commonality is a common ground in which there is a law in which the heavens can be married to the earth, and that would be Christ, with the particular principles to love God with all your whole heart, soul, and might, love others as you love yourselves, and love your enemies, because in former times you might not have been friends with this tribe. prior times that you may not remember. And you forgive others as you forgive yourself. So forgiveness is also the lesson. So all of these things correlate. So the end of the gospel, if there is one tree that he grabs that has a mixture of races, and he says he's coming for spiritual Israel, and blacks are minorities. We're minorities for the cause that we're supposed to be multiplying and progeniting like fucking crazy. Like we can't be relegated to like one wife. You know what I'm saying? Especially, and for this cause, the reason why it's like this is because the eugenics and all of that shit, all the shit forced into the inner cities got so damn bad. So now we gotta have hope. You know what I'm saying? We gotta have a lot of females because you gotta have oil. You know, and correlating with the more of us that are in the earth, it may correlate with the more places that you find oil. You don't really know how this correlates because everything is represented together. All right. So this is why the world is going crazy for finding alternative fuel sources. Okay, because the representation of the black man is becoming more and more scarce based on eugenics and other things. Okay, so then these individuals come with things, provided that even if they had the money and the finances to afford these things, knowing that the earth provides for it, so that this new creature that is born into the earth could only mathematically allot enough for the duration of that individual's life, not only what he needs, but more than likely what he wants also. And yet we are castrated according to superficial things as finances, even up into particular our knowledge. Like if we wanted to learn a specific skill set, if you do not have the financial money in order to create this society based upon nepotism, because there's so many talented people to rise up through the ranks. And then we have the commodities in which these individuals who don't know themselves and they and they become fucking Disney princesses, man. You know what I'm saying? And hang on a second. And the problem with fucking and the problem with Disney princesses, dude, is like, even if you get with a Disney princess, because of all the traumas and the shit that happened to them and shit like that, which there must be some type of fucking odd thing about this Disney princess shit, because like there seem to be snickerings and things of this nature around this thing. But when I talk about Disney princess, I want you niggas to know it's not the same as when you talk about Disney princesses or what you represent as a Disney princess. I represent Disney princess as an archetype of thought that correlates with being a commodity and what type of lifestyles and choices this individual had to endure according to their circumstances while being and living in a trance in a fucking wherever the fuck they live at, whatever demographic they in. That's what I fucking correlate with a motherfucking Disney princess. Yeah. There'd be so many of these females walking around, man, just fucking entranced the fuck out, man. Or sometimes they'll be with you and they'll fucking just, they have to check out for a second. I'm like, yo, man. Yo. These niggas said, is there something I don't know? You know what I'm saying? Is there something I don't know? When these niggas said that they got shit that can suck the soul out of a nigga, I had to fight for my life. I fucking couldn't take it. I fucking zoned out. I damn near turned into a fucking Disney princess myself. I went all the way there. Even though that's not my thing. I'm thinking, now wait a minute, now that's some shit. That's some, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's some interesting shit. That's what I started thinking. I had to call myself back to the light. You know what I'm saying? Which was the opposite direction from the fruit that looked good to eat. It looked good, meaning like it sounded like a good fucking idea. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, I can't really have the things that I want. And the things that I want, I generally have awareness of because advertisers know that people are walking zombies in their sleep. so that they have to advertise it to get a piece of real estate, to get a peace of mind from an individual. They have to put it out in front of them, because something as simple as putting things out in front of individuals will cause them to impulsively get this item the minute they think in that general area. But what would that take also? Individuals not knowing themselves and being perpetually distracted until they just live in some type of disassociated state, like a fucking Disney princess, Kathy O'Brien's Transformation of America. And then you got trans and these pronouns. So you see the manifestation of how an individual's words and how an individual utilizes words, and words becoming viral. How these things collect from COVID, from minorities getting choked or treated a certain way by police, leading into the COVID and the opioid crisis as well. That there is an affliction rate, and for a time for which cause that we have been separated according to our consciousness. Black man who does not read books, okay, for this cause. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We are under a fucking 400-year deficit here and 430 years in Egypt. So the fact of the matter is this, man. A lot of these individuals, what I mean is they're in a situation of look, they're trans the fucked out, man. And when someone's trans the fuck out, they're not American or anything else, man. They're just fucking trans the fuck out. Sometimes people have anxiety or something like that. But when people are trans out, we don't consider this to be antisocial behavior or anything like that. In fact, people are targeted with antisocial behavior. They would have to be, wouldn't they? So in this admission to targeting, the diagnosis of antisocial behavior, all right, isn't this an admission of some type of control? Because individuals just not engaging or participating back in the school. I mean, you may not get a sticker, but I don't know if antisocial, meaning anti means I don't fuck with you at all, becomes a targeted individual. And when this indicates some type of hunting or studying of that individual over a process of time, and during that process of time, when things don't work, when the adversary can't get hold of a nigga, don't they send in the females? And I'm saying, I never got by. Yo, hey man, listen. These niggas said. This is the time where females start looking for men, because this is a generated, problematic environment in which they start looking around saying, I had dreams of going to college and all of these other things, and now all I could do is have a baby despite my education and everything I know. And lo and behold, if I don't become lesbian and a part of my archetype of my species of which I come from, I'm gonna be fucked. So like the females have to be lesbian even if they're in a marriage. And listen, hey man, listen, some niggas is having a buffet. So some people are at the Garden of Eden, but it's not exactly Eden, because this garden of desires are darkly desires, because it is devoid of the heart. And if that is the case, I definitely ain't dealing with one. Listen, I got radical energy, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm with the shit. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I got the energy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I got the energy. So why am I going to put myself in a situation? Here come these Mr. Roger cards. See, they hate when I talk about certain. So why would I waste the time? Why would I waste the time tied up in one thing? I mean, it's got to be some depth or value to that, because people grow at different rates, and we're at a deficit. Black man. I mean, shit, we should have been populating like crazy. They got Planned Parenthood. We getting killed left and right and shit. We don't even make it to enlist. Ain't that a bitch? These motherfuckers is cold-blooded. You know what I'm saying? And so if they females are content with being treated that way, I have to look at you as a concubine. I can't take you seriously. Now, I'll give you good information. I'll try to work with you, but I ain't gonna let you get in the way of my plans, right? Because out of the white man controlling the reproduction of the black man in the world, okay, They have also castrated the female, the white female, for the most part. And out of the pride of that situation, which I understand as a black man, female, that you've been oppressed to a certain degree, and I also understand the androgyne principle, I think to a certain degree, but the means of your cry out through your movement is only for the feeding and cannibalism of people that are pure and black. Niggas like Robert Downey Jr. and shit. We gotta protect him. Spirit baby. Yeah. So even if you get, let's say, an opportunity, you find some, and what I call Disney princesses, these trophy looking females, okay. And apparently in this day and time, you don't know what's going on, like what somebody got going on. So I mean, I definitely know. I'll be asking some questions, and I don't care if they're intrusive, because it's like, hey man, listen, I ain't trying to feel no teeth ever again. Wilbur, never. You understand? I ain't trying to feel that. Hey, listen. Hey man, listen. I ain't trying to feel those teeth ever again, nigga. My hands was not in the air during that time. Hey man, listen. Even if you get with one of these fucking Disney princesses that are these trophy chicks, they're trophies, and they look great and everything like that. Then you're fucking with a situation in which you could have the best relationship, and it reminds me, I haven't seen the film, but it reminds me of 50 First Dates, because their memory is a thought. They're not in connection with their soul, they're disconnected. So it's kind of like this individual that you're dating is just a matrix. So you have to put that shit together and get to know, whoever you with. You have to get to know your female. You got to work on getting their consciousness right, or everything like that. And if their consciousness isn't right, you don't know if that individual has some type of knowledge in which they understand how you operate and use you as a commodity, because that will be your natural disposition, it would seem, because that's the ways of this machine to function. Okay, and you could get with this young lady and you could have the best times with this so-called Disney princess. What I'm relating to here is the Mickey Mouse cap or MK Ultra. Okay, that is general and common in society when you see these housewives leave their house in the suburbs and go on fucking walks and shit. Okay, this is the environment or nature of the tax bracket. Okay, and these things facilitate certain oppressions upon others through the high basis, since everybody is connected through sex, and this is Operation Paperclip. Okay, which pertains to the connection of individuals, and 6 degrees of separation pertaining to witchcraft is the dark arts, because sin is as witchcraft is written in scripture. So therefore, them soul ties and everything, which happened with Solomon, the wisest man, how he was brought down. You see what I'm saying? The fact of the matter is this, that witchcraft works between these soul tie connections. Okay, that's how that shit works. Whatever type of witchcraft that you're working, it work, and you don't know. You have to know science and witchcraft to be a well-rounded practitioner of some type of sorcery or witchcraft. Otherwise, you don't know the correlations pertaining to physics and natural elements of what would draw or retract from something that you do, or what it would cause exactly. Now, you may get a general effect to some degree, and you may get some side effects or some spill out, or things can happen but not happen in the way you think, and everybody's got to learn, right? So this is how people are getting affected, and these Disney princesses do these things. And the fact of the matter is that when you have a conversation with a Disney princess, or you've been dating a young lady for a while that's a Disney princess, and you start to build and really find that you trust this individual, then you get accused of something where it's like, I thought you knew me as an individual. How could you say something like that? And these things cover a guilty conscience, and you start realizing elementary deficits in the way that they think. Okay, and then you figure out that they're tranced out, and you realize that you're just in a relationship by your fucking self, and the things they say are baseless and mean nothing, and the things that they're interested in are superficial and childish and on the immature side of it. And you realize that, you know what I'm saying, pertaining to spiritual growth and development, you're in different places. You know what I'm saying? And this situation pertaining to could potentially be as a weight. This individual has a different law and doesn't walk with you. So you could say that these cells have enmity. You see what I'm saying? But yet they have a soul tie and they have eloped together. You know, as if when these two souls have merged into a semi-Siamese situation, and maybe they created some cells that have this variance within itself, causing a polarity between two different psychologies and two different spirits. But you could remove all of that, and you could just have an individual have a whole bunch of spirits that correlate with different cosmic intelligences that operate within the same mind, and it will fillet their mind apart. Okay? So when I work at the core and you try to do witchcraft on me and you're not aware of your choices, right? And, or how things correlate together, right? The only reason witchcraft exists is it exists because of spiritual law and because of the collective common consensus. Then you are roped into, or bonded into believing the same thing, and therefore the connection between this witchcraft and sorcery may work on me for a time before it start finding a more absolute place. You see what I'm saying? And as the Bible says, endure. That's all I had to do. But these, even if I wanted a girlfriend and I found the girl of my dreams, I have to understand things have happened to that individual. More than likely. You know, it's not like unwrapping the present. It's you know what I'm saying? That doesn't happen. Okay, so the fact of the matter is this: these individuals are tranced out and traumatized, and in between their programming, not only from the echo chamber, but who has tabs on them and who keeps tabs on them. And just because relationships is done does not mean that someone is not always tracking behind or trying to follow that individual. And this thing could be correlated more so to a spirit or sorcery or witchcraft. You see what I'm saying? In which emotions become a crazy thing, in the fact that we know that emotions can be irrational. And so can witchcraft, as it defies certain things. But even in its defiance, it requires certain things. Therefore, it is bonded to operate with physics. And therefore, the physical is a reflection of that which is spiritual first, and the physical is subjective, which is why the witchcraft works only within a certain spectrum. That an individual does not deal with the spiritual law. Okay? So those who are going to be lawless, that work someone on someone who goes according to the law, these individuals, like I told you, all I could give you is Miranda. You know what I'm saying? She was a great girl, man. Anything you say or do will be used against you. My nickname is Plainclothes. I'm not cop. I'm not FBI. I don't fuck with any of you niggas that are double agents. You understand what I'm saying? And if you're a double agent, know for sure you have tabs on you, more than you think. And nothing is sacred and nothing is private. I have no friends, and yet I spew this information. I just hit record. Even if you have a Disney princess, how can you have a relationship with an individual, not only that doesn't know themselves, but with this matrix that is the thorn between you and your consciousness? How can you have a relationship with that? That would be like having a relationship with the entire world, in which there's 6 degrees of separation. So how many people you got to date? Other than that, there's just images. I'm out. Peace. YouTube, the truth is, I'm not married to the game. I'm married to the truth. All right? The truth comes first, and it's the priority. This world is backwards and every man is retrobate because we presume to travel down time in chronological order. But since the taking of the fruit, we have traveled through time, and time is a reprobation of that which was timeless. So therefore, this timeline is going backwards, and the first shall be last as well. Okay? And the fact of the matter is all things that are apart from God are nothing but lies and illusion. So every man is a liar, because even in that which he knows that he tells the truth, that truth is a lie unless it correlates or has some type of path correlating with scripture or correlating with the truth. And this would be as a principle or a marriage or a bride, a spiritual completion as a flower, having both parts, male and female, that those of earth or carbonite are the feminine principle, all right? And the Lord is the Lord of hosts, and he is the masculine principle, being the only begotten Son of God. You understand? And for his account, he allows us, he invites us into the body in which we can be recognized as brothers and sisters according to the faith. But these words which I share would not be fundamentally, of my own. You see what I'm saying? But the truth that I have to give, which is good, the mystery of faith, would be the proof that I have a relationship with the Most High God that doesn't correlate around robotic rules or anything else like that, but a real genuine relationship in which the words that come out of my mouth are true. Even if, you know what I'm saying, even if you don't, you know what I'm saying, I may not fucking have the same type of knowledge that other niggas have through secret societies and all that other shit. Like, I'm conscious, like I'm aware, I have a pretty good awareness of what's going on without having the inner workings of the details. It's just, for what cause would I need to focus on it? Unless there is an interest for me to join. And for what cause would I need to join to exist in this earth, of which I'm comprised and a part of? Who can take my rights of what government or country that exists within my mind? And who gave it its real estate? And why do I pay taxes on my property? Knowing who I am and those who work witchcraft against me and themselves. You understand? So everything's false. Everything's a lie. Anything apart from God is a lie. And the only reason we have any type of light or any type of knowledge is according to the truth, which would be Christ. So you could say that knowledge would be an aptitude or a way. Possibly, yeah, up to a certain extent that you have understanding. But at the same time, there's no measure of knowledge that is going to garner you faith. That's the leap of faith you have to take in the things that you say or do. And I've said miraculous and amazing things here, right? And it's all been true. And the mystery is nobody could come at me and say that it's conspiracy theory. But I've talked about extraterrestrial, extra dimensional entities. I gave you some comedy. I gave you all sorts of things. I became so many things at once to you. Okay? To provide you a message, to speak to you spiritually. All right? That's why I ask people if they know God. Peace. Hey man, listen. What did the nigga say to the avian? You know what they say about tree houses, right? Hey man, listen. What did the nigga say to the avian? You know what they say about tree houses, right? Hey man, listen. What did the nigga say to the avian? You know what they say about tree houses, right?